Good afternoon, everyone. Back in Wareham again. Love to be back in lovely Wareham, Mass. for another great episode of Topic Time with Harrison Young. I have an awesome young man as a guest tonight. He's a musician. He's wanted to do the show for about a year, and we finally got him in here. He's friends with one of the interns. But before we begin, we got to read these awesome underwriters per usual, and then we will commence. So, we got the Gun Runner LLC in Middleborough, dedicated to your Second Amendment rights, and it's the Second Amendment store. We got Salon Giovanni in Marshfield. We got Tom Otto in Middleborough. We got the Main Ingredient, Just Good Food in Middleborough. We got Pembroke Radiator in Pembroke. We got Maggie's Cuts in Kingston. We got Ocean Street Auto Repair and Service in Marshfield. We got Pacini's Pizza in Middleborough, they deliver. We got Genuine's Inspection in Middleborough. We got New England Floorscapes in Middleborough. We got the Cornerstone Barber Shop in Pembroke. We got Manny's Auto Repair in Taunton, and we got Crazy Axes Rec Center in Hanover. I want to thank you guys very much. Now on that note, before I introduce Kyle Barry, he's the guest, I just want to give a little plug to the Middleborough Little League Baseball team. They're almost closing in on the World Series. I know it's near here, it's a couple of towns away, so congratulations to them. I mentioned it at my Area 58 show last week, so I'm following them. I'd love to see them take it all. That would be fun. And on that note, now I will introduce Kyle Barry officially. Kyle, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
You're quite a talented young man. We're going to
Thank
listen to a little of your music, and we're going to talk to you and interview you like I do with everybody that I interview.
Thank you.
So thank you for showing the enthusiasm and the drive to do my show and finally getting it done.
Sounds awesome. Here. Yes, thank you.
Okay, well, let's talk about your history now. Are you a lifelong Warehamite?
No, I'm actually from Bourne.
Well, that's close enough.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in the area.
Well, yeah, like 5-10 minutes down the road, right over the little bridge.
Right,
yeah.
closer to the Cape, which is we are at the gateway to the Cape. Okay, you grew up in Bourne?
Yes.
Okay, tell me about your childhood. How long did it take you to begin music? And when you were a kid, were you precocious? And let's talk about what you did as a kid, and we'll take it from there and work our way to the present. So go ahead.
So pretty much, I wasn't actually into music growing up.
Okay.
So
What were you into?
I was into sports. I actually wanted to be an NBA player.
I'm glad I mentioned the Little League thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I wanted to be an NBA player for the longest time, so I would strive and do that, and then injuries started happening in school, and then I actually had a really bad incident happen in high school, which I could not play sports anymore.
Wow.
So then I just started listening to some music, and then turns out metal and the little rock music.
Yep.
I actually was brought to Warped Tour in 2015 with my brother, even though I dreaded going on listening to the metal and the screamo stuff because it honestly scared me.
Really?
Yeah.
Why you mean the sound of heavy metal music scared you?
It actually did, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I was actually scared. I was listening to all the trap rap and stuff like that back at the time, and I just had no interest in it. So then I went to Warped Tour with them, and then did a complete 180, and I started listening to music. I started drums probably when I was about 19.
Okay. How old are you now?
I'm 23.
Yeah, you don't look too old.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I started 19. I was self-taught. I had maybe one lesson when I was like 7 or 8, but never that. I just picked up sticks.
Okay.
And that's pretty much where it took me.
Well, so you're drumming now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, are you in a band? What we're going to listen to about halfway through the show, is that just you alone, or you have people with you, an ensemble, if you will?
So I've done pretty much everything myself.
Okay.
I've done the guitars, the drums, and the vocals, and I've done all the mixing and everything by myself.
Okay. So that's basically all you then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Solo show.
Well, okay. Now, were you musically trained anywhere? I mean, did you go to college at all?
No, I've actually picked stuff up by myself as I went. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos.
Okay.
And I've jammed with a couple of people, but I've actually never done gigs out with people.
Okay.
Or stuff like that, so.
Oh, all right. Well, so basically, and you learn to mix in your own, edit your own music and things like that, and you have your own editing equipment at home?
Yeah, I have some of it. I do a lot of it on my MacBook, actually. So.
But you what?
On my MacBook.
MacBook? Oh, you mean it's
Yeah.
like the iPad thing?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, all right.
It's like an iMac.
Right,
It's like
exactly.
an Apple computer,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, it sounds to me like that's a big part of it, is the mixing all. So you basically create one sound after another, and then you mix it together.
Yeah, so pretty much I'll start with the bass line of the drums because that's the pattern of any sort of
Right,
song.
exactly.
And then you add the subset of the bass, which
Yep.
the bass adds the groove to it, and then you have do the overlays of the guitar, which adds the cake on the icing, and then I'll just put the vocals on, and then I'll do some compressing and some EQing, and then I just work with the final mix, and that's what I have.
Wow, and you learned all this by yourself?
I did, yes.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever worked with it? Now, have you ever done actually a music video?
I haven't, no. I've been looking to actually try to
I mean,
get
do you have
someone together.
have you ever? I know what you have on YouTube is just audio, but have you ever? So you've never actually shot a music video with using your own music and choreographing it with other stuff, like people in motion? Because that's basically what, I mean, I love music videos. I watch them. I've been in a few. I've been in some films too. And it might help. I mean, I don't know how far you've taken your career. Have you performed live anywhere?
I haven't, no. Mostly because I'm a solo artist, so I have
Okay.
to get all the groups and the pieces together. But I'm looking to make music videos, and I'm looking to actually go out and do some gigs.
Okay.
So,
All right. So you started this when you were 19.
yes, so that's when I started drumming and everything.
Right.
So I started actually writing my solo music back about, let's say, a year and a half ago,
Oh,
and a half,
okay.
2 years ago.
So before that, you were doing it with other people's stuff. You were learning from them.
Yes,
Okay.
correct, yeah.
Any particular bands that you emulate that you really like, or musicians that you idolize?
So my top three, I gotta go Wage War. There's a
Okay.
hardcore band called Knocked Loose, and then I would say a band called Ocean's 8 Alaska.
Okay, I've heard of them. All right, so right now, so you went from being scared of heavy metal to being a big fan of it.
Yes.
Okay, so something must have jolted you. What was it? You just thought to yourself, if I'm scared of it, it must be pretty darn good. Maybe I should be part of it.
Well, so it was that Warped Tour. It was actually, the Warped Tour scenario. So when I went, I just saw the energy and everything, and compared to what I was listening to that trap, I was like, I don't know if I can get into this. And then when I went and saw all that energy, like the crazy mosh pits, the Circle Raven circle pits, I was like, oh man, I gotta
So you
open
actually
my
had a
eyes.
mosh pit?
Yeah, I know now. Now I mosh pit. That was my first time mosh pitting. Was at Warped Tour 2015.
Were you actually in a mosh pit?
Yes.
I thought, okay, were you throwing girls around? Isn't that what they usually do? Like the groupies?
Not specifically, but
Well, what were you doing? I mean, how many I know I've never been in one of those. I've seen them, but usually what I see is, you see a bunch of guys, mostly college-age guys and girls, and the girls are kind of like, the guys are kind of carrying the girls around. I mean, isn't that what it was?
well, a mosh pit is kind of different in metal. So pretty much what it is when it's really heavy and people just want to like quote unquote let all their anger out, they'll all get in a big pit and start pushing each other.
Oh, okay, so
what
I see, so it's almost like semi-violent.
Yeah,
Not violent, but almost like bumping cars at a carnival, except no cars.
Exactly.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
yeah, I mean, it can get pretty violent
I'm sure
if
it
people
can.
take it to that point.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be part of that. I mean,
Yeah.
if I had some girls with me, that'd be one thing. That'd
Yeah,
be
bring
great.
the girls along. It'll
Exactly.
be
I
fun.
mean, short of that, I wouldn't go anywhere near it. I wouldn't touch it. How many people were in it about?
Oh, there's a lot. It was pretty much on a yard, let's say.
Okay, an outdoor thing?
Yeah, pretty
okay.
much outdoor. It was over like 5,000 people. It used to happen.
5,000 people? Really? Where? Where was it?
It was at the Xfinity Center in Mansfield. So pretty
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, that's a pretty large. Used to
Yeah.
be Great Woods.
Yep.
I know. I saw some shows there in the '90s. Early '90s. You probably weren't even born yet. If you're 23, you were not. Interesting. Okay.
Yep.
All right. But then you realize that when you eventually bring your music to fruition, are you going to be performing in mosh pits too? You think?
Yeah, I hope to create some
Okay.
mosh pits. Yeah,
To
get
create
the blood flowing.
Right. Okay. All right. So, as a kid, you never took lessons with anybody? Never. Okay.
No, I did not. It's
Okay.
all self-taught.
It's always self-taught. Okay. So I'm just. You actually did play sports as a young kid, and then you got injured? Is that what happened?
Yes, I played basketball, soccer, and lacrosse. You can call me a foot fairy, but yeah.
No, that's not. That's cool. That's nothing wrong with that. All right. So your music is pretty much it's just all heavy metal. You don't do any ballads.
Well, no, I usually just do a lot of like heavy metal and rock and stuff like that. I had some influences of electronic music and
Okay.
some rap, so I still have all the basis of it there with the rap from what I used to listen to.
Okay. Now, when you write your own lyrics, what are you basing on? Is it your own real life? Are you absurd with it or what? Tell me about that.
I kind of just base it off real life events and stuff that's happened to me in the past.
Okay. And I'm kind of guessing you've had a colorful life so far. Okay.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Well, let's talk about some of the events because I want to, when we listen to the song about halfway through the show, I'm going to listen to it and I'm going to say, well, what could this be about? Now, if you describe some of the things you sing about, well, then I'll know.
Okay.
If you don't, I won't know. So go ahead.
So we'll talk about my song that I just released. It's called The Breakthrough. So pretty much
called what?
It's called The Breakthrough.
A breakthrough?
What is it?
The breakthrough? A breakthrough?
Yeah, They'll Break Through.
They'll
yes.
Break Through, got it,
Yes,
okay.
They'll Break Through.
Okay.
So pretty much this is just a song describing how I was always growing up, getting beaten up and pushed down.
Wow.
Yeah, I never had anybody really besides family and like maybe like a small group of friends, but everybody, I was walking down
You
the
get
halls.
picked on a lot.
Pretty much,
Yeah,
yeah, I
me
was getting
too.
bullied and everything. So it would
Yeah.
end up in like an endless vortex.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what this song is about, is how to push yourself through a vortex and how to break yourself out of all the hard times.
That's awesome. It's almost like kind of like a science fictional answer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I know exactly what it was like, because I was fat as a kid and I got picked on a lot in elementary school, and I would also I'd be walking around my elementary school fantasizing that I could be in a time machine and go 1,000 years in the future where kids couldn't find me.
Exactly.
Well, the school's still there. It's just not a school anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know that is fascinating. So you're kind of a sci-fi fan too.
Yep.
I know it's true. I mean, people like us that get picked on, it sparks our imagination to create solutions that we may never actually be able to fulfill. But at the same time, things do happen as we figure out as we get older, when we eventually find our creative genes, as you did, and it turns out to be a solution to the problem. I mean, right now people probably have the utmost respect for you.
Exactly.
I would guess.
Yeah.
You have a girlfriend too, right?
Oh yes, I do. 2 years.
Congratulations on
Yep.
that. I know you.
Thank you.
I thought you'd bring her today. I figured she'd be here.
Nah, she didn't want to come. She'd rather do DoorDash, I guess.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
that's cool. I mean, that's gotta be awesome. I mean, now, have you ever written anything about her, romantically? Just because obviously, if a rocker's gonna want to, with a girlfriend's gonna want to idolize her, and he's gonna want to put him on a pedestal. She's gonna want to be put on a pedestal usually, don't they?
Yeah, I was thinking about actually doing
I'm
something.
suggesting you
Yeah.
do that if you haven't.
Yeah,
Write something for her.
I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, something that'll sweep her off her feet.
Exactly.
And also,
take her away.
Not
Lock
only
her up.
that, in addition to that, it will also give other people inspiration too. I mean, you know how it is when somebody says, that's our song.
Yes.
So a couple says, that's our song. So you write something nice about your girlfriend, and I'll bet and it comes out really good, and I'll bet there'll be millions of people around the world thinking, hey, that should
Yes.
be our song too. Couples,
Exactly.
I mean.
That's
Yeah.
that's what I'll try to do. Yes.
It's 40 years now. I haven't actually had a girlfriend in 40 years, and that's okay. I mean, I'm working on it right now. I don't know what's going. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But you know the band Foreigner, right? I don't know if you remember the song "Waiting for a Girl Like You."
Yes.
Okay, that was 40 years ago, so that was our song, and only because
Good song choice.
It's a great tune. So,
Yeah.
and I'm using Foreigner as an example because they were like a heavy metal band, but that was their first ballad.
Yeah.
And when you create music, as someone as a fan of music myself, I find that it's awesome. The more diverse a band is or an artist, the better the music is. You want to have. I mean, I love it when a heavy metal band does something really, sweet and sultry sounding,
Exactly.
or
yeah.
just relaxing, like
Yeah.
Alice Cooper, right? So he did a song called "You and Me" back in the '70s, and you wouldn't even know it was him if you heard it.
Yeah.
One day I was driving through the streets of Montreal, listening to the radio, and it came on. So I mean, I don't know if any of these old bands from the the '60s and '70s are any of your inspiration, but I guess it sounds to me like yours are more upbeat.
Yeah.
And yeah, you incorporate more. You tend to like rap. You like to incorporate the rap theme and the rhythm into your music too, right?
Yeah, so that's pretty much called what they call new metal style. It's
Oh, it is?
NU metal, yeah, and it's just like a rap type of metal. So
Okay. Yeah.
kinda like-
Okay. Now, are you continuously writing all the time now too?
Yes, I'm still currently writing.
Still
yes.
currently writing, and are you basing your more current stuff on your more recent experiences?
Yeah, that's a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now, let me ask you this: do you like? And it's not off the cuff. I'm asking because a lot of the stuff that that good songs are written are based on literature. Do you like reading it all? Like reading good literature, stories? I mean, you mentioned sci-fi. I thought maybe that I mentioned it, but the idea of going through a vortex.
So I actually wasn't too big on reading.
You weren't. Okay.
I wasn't. I always failed my English classes. I had to
Okay.
stay back in high school in order for me to get my diploma to get
Oh,
it.
really?
So I just stayed away from the reading.
Okay.
So I was always more of a movie type guy.
More movie guy. Okay. All right. What films do you like? I'm just wondering if the vortex was one. I guess.
Yeah, and then I say my favorite movie would have to probably be Hunger Games because
Okay.
that was a great film. I had to read that all the time during summer reading in high school. High school, and I
Yep.
didn't ever want to read the book, so I'd sit there and watch the movie, and there we go.
Okay. You got away with. You still passed the test.
Yes.
Okay. Well, you could write a course on cheating on a test.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Write a song about
It sounds
that.
to me like I mean, oh, okay, we're about halfway through
Okay.
the show. Now we're gonna listen to Zach's song. I'm sorry, Kyle, your friend is Zach. Yeah, please forgive me for that. You don't have to edit that out, that's funny. All right, so Kyle, we're gonna listen to your song, and then we're gonna come right back and talk about it.
All right, awesome.
So here we go. Oh, that was great. Now tell me about that. Now that we talked about, your style of music, let's talk about the song.
Okay. So,
Describe it, please.
so pretty much the song starts out with a little like electronic upbeat. So it's that's how it starts out, and then pretty much after it comes in with some heavy electrical guitars with 4/4 drum beat, just
Okay.
off-tempo kicks, and then it'll have a break. And then it'll start getting really, really fast, and then it'll break to a chorus, and then another like intermediate verse, and then it'll come with like a what they call a medium in between breakdown.
Okay.
And and then I'll actually go back to the chorus, and then it'll come back to the breakdown, and then it'll end off with like that little rappy part. That's how I ended off that song.
Okay, that's awesome. So obviously you played a lot of parts in that song. You created, and how long did it take you to create it? Did you have to create it? Did you have to like, what do they do? Control track one sound after another?
Yes.
One on top of another, and you had to do each individual part. And how many were there all together?
So I did about 26 tracks.
Wow, amazing.
Yes.
And how long did it take you?
I'm gonna say it probably took me about 2 weeks.
Okay, that's
2
not
weeks.
bad at all. 26
No.
tracks for two.
No.
Okay. Now, is that your first actual song that you created on Spotify? Well, it's not Spotify, but it's whatever it is, the YouTube. On that
no.
soundtrack.
No, so I actually have a full album out. It's
do?
called The Untold Narratives of Society,
Okay.
and I dropped that about a year ago,
Okay.
and that's on like all streaming platforms and everything.
All right. Let's give a little synopsis of that too. Let's talk about those songs too.
Okay.
So just discuss them. if you will.
So I'll talk about one of my favorite ones. It's called Relapse and Repeat. It's really like my heavy go-to song. It's the last song in the last song in the album, and that play kind of is a backlot of the breakthrough. So that's where I ended the last album, was Relapse and Repeat, and then I continued it on with the breakthrough lyrically. So they kind of flow together.
Okay.
So
Wow.
I try to like tell a little bit of a story. So that's what I'm trying to
everything
go
is
for.
almost like a different chapter of the same thing.
Yes, that's why I kind of named it The Untold Narratives of Society.
I like the
'Cause
way I like to use the untold narratives of society. So you're basically describing society as you see it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
And how do you see it? I'm just curious.
I mean,
I want to hear. I mean, right now, what I want to hear from you is your view on the world today, because this is kind of interesting. Because what happens is when you get profiled like you're getting right now, people are going to want to know when they hear your music, they're going to want to know, what does this guy think of the world, and what do you think, and why? Why do you think this of it? So let's hear a little about that. At this
I
point.
mean, so just society in general, it just seems like it doesn't seem like it's all over the place, but it just seems like there's a whole bunch of different communities and groups.
Yep.
And not like everybody's just coming together. There's one group that does this, one group that does that, and it just, like I said, nobody's clicking together.
Right.
And if we could just try to get a push so where we all could become one as like a
I
society
understand.
again.
So basically, it's a conflict. There's a lot of conflict.
A lot of
and
conflict,
you
yep.
want to resolve it. I mean, that's cool because that's
Yes.
basically what. I mean, that was like the peace movement of 50 years ago.
Exactly.
Plus, in the 60s and the 70s, the hippie movement, and you're kind of reviving it.
That's what I'm trying to do.
That's
yeah.
good.
Between like COVID and now, for example, we got like a monkeypox thing
Yep.
going out. It's just
Don't forget the
everything's
wars.
just- yeah, exactly. Yeah, Ukraine too. Yeah.
Right, Ukraine.
Yes. Rest in
Taiwan.
peace. Yep.
Yeah, I know.
I know it's awful.
It
So
is.
it's just like all that we need to like just all come together and realize what's going on and just get everybody back together on their feet again.
Right. Well, I mean, it's people like you that's probably, if it's ever going to happen, you're the people that are going to make it happen.
Exactly.
And
our
you're going
generation.
to, and your music will inspire. I expect a lot of people to,
Mm-hmm.
to maybe turn around and check their tempers at the door.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay. And how supportive was your family and your girlfriend of this? I assume they're pretty up with what you're doing, right? Or down with what you're doing in a good way.
So my girlfriend is very supportive,
Okay.
and the only person that actually knows that I actually publish music is my brother. My mom or my dad has no clue.
Really? Why is that?
They just, I don't know, I've just been,
You never told them?
I mean, not specifically. They know that I drum, because they hear it, but they
Do
don't.
you live with them?
I do currently, yes,
Okay.
because the housing market's just through the roof right now.
Okay.
So I've just decided.
Well, don't they? Well, what about when you do your editing? You editing your songs? They don't know you're doing that.
Not specifically, because I do it with headphones on, and I don't think they register that they can hear it, because I do everything through headphones.
Well, is it you don't want them to know? Are you waiting to become big and famous before they find out? Is that it? Then they're
No.
gonna say, "Why didn't you tell us you were famous?
Well,
Why
I
do we have
know.
to hear it from the Rolling Stone?"
Well, no, I just, like I said, I've grown up being judged and stuff. Like, I know
Okay.
it's my family and everything, but
Okay.
it's just like, my brother knows because he's heard me actually
Okay.
done it. And my girlfriend's with me every day, so she knows that I'm going off to edit, but it's just like, stuff like that.
Now, has she been in any? I mean, you haven't done any videos. Does she sing too at all or perform music?
No, she does not, sadly.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say it might be kind of cool to have her even perform, sing with you or something.
Exactly, yeah. I know she could sing a little bit. It's just, I don't know. It's like that.
She just doesn't really want to do it.
Yeah.
You ever ask her?
I have. She's
Yeah.
too nervous.
She said no. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's fine. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm thinking a bunch of years ago. Remember the band Whitesnake?
I actually, I think so.
David Coverdale. Well, you never hear that song? Here I go again
Yes,
on my own.
there we
All right,
go.
That's Whitesnake.
It just drew a blank on me for a second.
All right,
Here
well,
I
that
go
song came
again.
out 35 years ago. David Coverdale and his girlfriend, she's since passed, unfortunately, Tawny Katane. She was his girlfriend at the time. In that video, she was his, it was clear that she was his girlfriend in the video. So what I'm thinking of you, if you ever do make a video, you should definitely ask your girlfriend to at least be in it. If she doesn't want to sing, at least
Exactly.
at least act in it.
Yeah, no, she definitely would. She'd be like, here, let me make myself. Yeah, and she'd be
Exactly,
right in it.
Absolutely.
Knowing her.
And I would also suggest too, if you make more videos, that you find more actors too that you can write in. I'd be happy to do some. I've been in some music videos. If you could stand that, if you could stand the side of something like this and there, I could do something.
Oh, it'd be perfect. Yeah, come along.
Yeah, all right, yeah. Let me know. Yeah. If you ever do that, are you going to be able to actually handle doing the videos by yourself, or are you going to need? I mean, it sounds to me like you like being independent and you like totally working on your own as much as you can.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would like to have people try to do my videos and try to, like I said, get myself a band around me so where
Right.
I could perform. But like at the time being, I'm not that huge into the music industry yet.
Okay.
I don't have
Hopefully the
myself
show
in-
will help with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have that much of a known self out there, so everything would be done self-hand. Like, I'd probably record the video on my iPhone and edit it on iMovie. That's how we're going to get to.
Oh yeah, that's the way to do it. Do you have the most upgraded iMovie? Like I still have iMovie 08 though. That was 14 years
Yeah.
ago. You
Yeah,
must
no.
have more current ones, right?
Yeah,
more
I do,
current
yeah.
version.
Yeah.
Okay, but do you have friends that know how to edit it, or that you don't have any friends or anything that play music that could help you at this time? I mean, even friends of your brothers or family members.
I know I've been talking to a couple people about it.
Okay.
Not 100% sure yet, though.
All right, you just waiting on an answer.
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever reached out like on social media for more people, or not yet?
Yes, I have done that. I've done that on Facebook and
Facebook, yeah.
Instagram, yes.
Looking for people to edit my video or to be in it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking you could do like a practice run or something. Create a like a mock song and see how it goes.
Exactly,
Take
yeah,
some
put
people
the
and
track.
check it out. And then if it came out good, then you could take the footage and turn it into add the music.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that would be awesome.
Exactly.
Because that's what people are going to want. People want the visual stuff now. They don't just want to hear the music.
I know, yeah.
And I expect you eventually will, it will happen. But I'm just thinking that's probably the best way to go.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do, is create a music video to back my track up.
Have you ever tried to find an agent for your music at all, or looked around, or somebody that might be able to, anyone to help you market it?
I've actually put my song out on a site called Groover, which
Okay.
is for musicians, and I've had a bunch of people actually reach out to me. So I do have someone that wants to write another article
Okay.
based on my song. So that's So that's what I'm trying to go for right now. Is I'm trying to get my music out there, and hopefully, I know I'm talking to someone through the app about possibly making a music video for it.
That's awesome. All right, so you've already got some people on board.
Yes.
Through social media.
Yes.
Okay. How long ago did you reach out to them?
It was a little bit after, probably a week after I dropped the song.
Well, I mean, so this year.
Yes.
A few months ago.
About a couple weeks ago.
Oh, just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
All right. So it won't be long that you'll hear back from them.
No, I've actually already heard back from a couple. I'm just waiting on the answer, like I said, on the music video. And
Wow, oh, that's
like
great.
that.
Okay. Do you have any ideas, if you do shoot a music video, do you have any idea for a venue where you'd be shooting it? I mean, like, would it be outdoors on the, maybe on the Cape? Would it be in your neighborhood?
I'm thinking somewhere in Salem because I'm actually a
Salem,
huge,
Mass?
Yes, I'm actually a huge Halloween person.
Okay.
I like
I have
Halloween.
relatives up there. They're all
Yes.
witches.
Yes.
I always tell that joke, but okay, yeah, that'd be cool. Maybe the House of Seven Gables. That'd be. You know what that is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well,
I do.
guess what, Kyle? We're down to the final 5 minutes of the show.
Okay.
We made it go by. I hope we covered as much about you as we could. I hope
Yes.
my interviewing skills were up to par for you.
Yes, they were. Thank you.
Okay. So what I'd like you to do in the remaining time, if you would, is just look at the camera, the orange light. Give a few shouts out to people that are going to see the show, family. Well, I guess your parents don't know, but your brother and your girlfriend, and then we'll wrap the show up with my music, the way we began it.
All right. So I would like to shout out. I will still shout out my family. So my mom, my dad. I will shout out my grandma and grandpa, and I will shout out my grandfather who's up in heaven right now. I will shout out my girlfriend Katie, my brother Colin, my brother Michael, and I will shout out all of my Amazonians that I used to work with at Amazon delivering.
Oh, cool. You were a delivery driver?
Oh yes, I was. I was a manager over there for a little bit.
Manager, huh?
Yeah.
You don't do it anymore. I guess
No.
you decided to pursue music instead.
Yeah, Jeff Bezos got a little too much for me.
Okay, I understand. All right, well, if you had a good time with me, like I ask every guest now, feel free to give my digits to anybody that you think might make an interesting guest, and whether they're musically inclined or not, or something else, if they have an interesting story to tell, I'll interview them. And now, before we wrap the show up officially, do you have anything going on in the near future that you might have overlooked that you want to mention? If not, that's fine, but I just always check that with everybody.
Are you talking about music-wise?
Anything, yeah,
Okay.
music-wise or anything at all that you want to just mention that you got coming up.
So at the moment, like I said, I don't have any gigs coming up, but
Okay.
I am working on coming out with an EP. So like 5 or 6 songs on an upcoming EP. And I'm trying to do that by the end of the year.
Okay, but that's good. That sounds like a good timeline.
Yeah.
Got about 5 months to go, 4 or 5 months. All right, well, Kyle, you did a great job with me.
Thank you.
And
Thanks for
thank
having
you,
me.
Zach and Joey, for doing the production. So you guys ready to wrap the show up the way we began it with my music?
Yes.
Okay,
Hear
folks.
that music.
Great to be back in Wareham. We'll do more shows this summer.
Thank
See you
you.
again. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
By the way, it's my 12th anniversary coming up next week. Yeah.
HARRISON spells Harrison. Harrison.
Great job. You still got it.
Hey!